This is my midterm presentation for Icom 495. In this presentation, I'm going to elaborate on the project that I've decided to work on and how I plan on conducting it. So for this project, I wanted to focus on the use of mobile apps in museums because it's a topic that is a lot of interest to me. After doing some research, I found that as of 2012, smartphone apps ranked among the top 5 most used museum mobile features in the US as well as the UK. Because this is such a growing trend, museum professionals have tried to understand what makes a really good and effective app. Um, when museums understand this kind of thing, they can go ahead and make bigger and better projects for their institution. So for my project, I wanted to conduct a case study that would evaluate existing mobile museum apps. This case study would include usability tests that would focus on evaluating the effectiveness of each app's design in comparison to the other apps that are being tested. These tests will gather user feedback about what users like to see in an app design, as well as what they consider makes an app really effective and enjoyable to use. The audience that I have for my case study includes the persons and groups that I will use as usability testers to gather my feedback. The demographic that largely uses smartphones is in their late teens and early 20s, so this is also the demographic that I want to focus on. So all of my testers will be Ball State University students between the age of 19 and 25. There are a number of clubs and groups on campus that I can pull testers from. These include the David Owsley Museum of Art Docents Program, the Ball State History Club, Ball State Immersive Learning students, and Ball State Digital Core student employees. So my overall project goals include to evaluate the usability of 3 museum mobile apps and to evaluate the design of 3 museum mobile apps. And all of these apps that I test will have similar features so that they can be more easily compared. The final goal for my project is to develop a list of some of the best design principles and features that I have found are included in these museum apps based on the feedback and evaluation that I get from testers. So in order to create this project, I first had to do some research on other case studies to get some idea of what already exists out in the world and to help me decide what I want to make and how I want to make it. So I compared different methodologies used in studies to try to find what might work best for me. So the next step in the process was to finally decide on what methodology I wanted to try and use to gather data for my study. So to do this, I went through 3 different steps or inquiries to determine what course I should take. The first inquiry was to try and find the best survey methodology. The second inquiry was to determine the best kinds of questions to ask testers. And the third was to compile all of my findings into making a test that would yield to my desired project outcomes. So my first inquiry was to try and find the best kind of survey, the one that more people would be willing to take. So I went to different people with 3 options and let them rank them. So my first option was to conduct my tests through an online survey. So this would allow people to go in and answer questions themselves. The second one was a face-to-face, one-on-one interview where a moderator asks the questions and the tester can discuss their answers. The third option was a focus group. So this is where a tester sits in with a few other testers to discuss their evaluation of the app with a moderator. And by far, people seem to like the face-to-face discussion interview the most, and so that's what I plan on using to help gather my user feedback. My second inquiry was to create a full survey that evaluated very specific things in each app that I wanted to test. And these specific areas that I wanted to test were ease of navigation, effectiveness of images and visuals, satisfaction, user control and freedom, learnability of the interface, and satisfaction with the experience. These are based on design heuristics. So I went in and created a full survey and tested it out with a few different people to see what kind of answers I would get. And it turns out that while it yielded some interesting results, it wasn't the results that I really needed. These tests were not comparative and would not guide testers to give me the information that would really help me achieve my project goals. So the final survey that I came up with after all of this testing uh, really tested for the desired outcomes of my study. So my desired outcomes were to evaluate the design of mobile apps, to evaluate the usability of mobile apps, and to determine what the best features and design principles of museum mobile apps are. So I'm going to have people identify uh, their favorite functions, rank their favorite functions among the 3 apps that they test, um, and to evaluate their first impressions on aesthetics and design principles, whether or not they think it's a professional design, whether there are some things that confuse them or distract them, stuff like that. So this survey is designed to yield better results because testers now have a way to really judge design and function by being able to compare the 3 different apps during their test. So this survey will be conducted by face-to-face interviews with my testers. So moving forward, my next step is to build the survey online. I'm still going to use the online form to help record the data that I get during my tests. And I will begin over spring break to reach out to the people I know in each of these groups. I have connections in the groups that I listed that I could pull testers from. So I will start to see how many people I will be able to recruit for the tests that I want to conduct.